patent lawsuit.
Yes, Julie, please.
I just wanted to bring up a couple practical concerns that I have, especially about the heightened pleading, whether it's in the complaint or in the demand letters. While I completely agree that we need to make sure that the patent at issue is identified, the product that's potentially infringing is also identified. I think the pending legislation goes too far. Various bills require you have to identify the claims, you have to identify the elements within the claims, and then the elements within the product to identify what's infringing. And from a practical aspect on that, that can at times be challenging. Sometimes that's very easy to do. You can obtain the product, you can pull the product apart, you can look at it, and you can figure that out. A lot of times you can't. I have a client right now, a small startup software company who has 4 software patents, and they have a competitor who, based on public information, appears to be infringing their patents. From what we can tell and what we can gather, it looks like they are, but we can't tell for sure. We don't have a product in hand to look at to be able to go element by element, claim by claim. And so we're trying to decide, do we send a cease and desist letter? We want to open up the communication with that competitor, but because it's just not readily available, short of corporate espionage. We don't know how we get that information, and that's not a unique problem. And that's why you have the discovery process. That's why you open those lines of communication. So while I agree there needs to be more disclosure, I think that we need to make sure that the provisions here don't go too far. On the same note, in patent cases, when you send a cease and desist letter, you don't want to be too clear in what you're doing because you open yourself up to declaratory judgment action. So as potentially a plaintiff, the benefit of being a plaintiff is you get to pick the court, the jurisdiction, the claims that you make. If you make it clear that you're going to sue for infringement, these are the claims, it's infringing, you're potentially opening yourself up to declaratory judgment so that the potentially infringing defendant then becomes the plaintiff, then gets to pick the forum, gets to pick the court. And so while I agree this is a definite problem, I think we need to make sure that, that we rein it in a little bit, don't go too far so that, that we can avoid some of these practical issues.